what I've been able to do just lately is to ensure that we have inclusive sport. Recently, we were able to hold the very first tournament for girls with intellectual disabilities,
Oh, wow.
and we attracted the attention of Nike, whom we'll
What?
be working with to, scale this.
Hello, everyone. So, if this is your first time seeing my face, my name is Babs, a budgeting coach. And this is a very exciting day because we are launching a new segment in my or for my social media, and it will be a podcast segment called Money Tales. So, Budgeting KE presents Money Tales, where we'll be bringing in different guests to share their career journeys, their personal finance journeys. And if this sounds like something that would interest you, please stick around and let's get started with our first guest. So today is episode 1, so very special. And I am here to introduce Peter Nyamai. We used to be in school together, actually. And that's why it was so easy to get him here, but very interesting, very successful young man. So I will not want to preempt anything you'd like to say. So, welcome, Peter. So, tell us about yourself and welcome to the first episode of the podcast.
Thank you very much. My name is Peter Nyamai, and I am many things, but just briefly about what I'm doing currently is that I am the County Executive Committee member at the county's waziris for gender, children, youth, sports, and social services. And just previously, about 2 months ago, I was the CCM for trade, industry, marketing, culture, and tourism for the county government of Makueni. I'm excited to be part of this series. And yeah, I look forward to sharing insights and just sharing my stories with you and make this program a success.
Thank you so much. And thank you so much for being here. So, we'll be the abbreviation CCM, I see. Yeah? So, CCM stands for?
County Executive Committee member.
So CEM or C?
CECM.
Oh, CECM. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. County Executive Member. County Executive
Committee.
Committee Member.
Yes.
CECM.
The CEC is County Executive Committee, is an equivalent of the cabinet
Oh.
at the national government. Yeah.
Ah, perfect.
Yeah.
Perfect. So, of course, the most obvious question for us is how did you get into that? Because, guys, shock on you, we were in chemical and process engineering class together, and now he's in leadership. And I was asking him just before he started recording, I mean, what a pivot. So, tell us about that.
So I never planned to be where I am today, but things sort of added up to what I'm doing right now. So right from college, I go to graduate management for 2 years. And then, other than stick back and serve the company, I decided to quit. And why I quit was because I had some inspiration from a couple of people who are doing well in entrepreneurship. And then I decided to just move out there, immerse myself into the innovative world. What I garnered from chemical engineering was a lot of innovative, skills and all that. And then, coming out here and working in a fast-paced company, I was able to acquire the skills of leadership. And then I decided, other than stick back and use that knowledge to build someone's company, then it was a skill that I could use to grow my own company. It was not actually a success from the onset because I made a lot of mistakes. Then ended up doing my postgraduate, undergoing a lot of leadership trainings through programs within the country and outside of the country. And then during all this period, I was interacting with a lot of challenges because what I went out there to do was solving some of the most pressing needs within my community. And I would have sessions with the leaders and we would have conversations around what they could do better in their programming and in their projects and all that. So, uh, what inspired me most to think more about participating in politics was during my graduate year in college. It happened to be a political season in the United States,
Oh,
and there was Trump and Hillary
yes.
Clinton, conversation. And since I was there under the federal government scholarship,
Oh.
then I had this motivation of just getting curious to know how they do it in the United States, how they work around the issues. So when I came back home, I decided to be an active participant in the political space, not necessarily to become to run for an office or to occupy an office, but to be part of the conversation. And that's what brought me into having the conversation. I really wanted to help a presidential candidate in 2017.
Mm-hmm.
I tried reaching out to their offices, and they were a little bit hesitant.
Mm-hmm.
And then in 2022, I decided I needed to go down to my county and make a difference in terms of deciding who the leaders would be.
Mm-hmm.
So that's my journey
Mm-hmm.
into how I found myself into this.
Mm-hmm.
I was curious. I wanted to participate. I wanted to do this because I wanted proper leadership. And in the process, then I found myself, seated at the seat that I'm seated today.
Yes.
Because again, after working so hard to ensure that you have proper leadership, then it would have been a mistake to uh, get a good leader and leave him alone, seated there, because leadership is not just about one person.
Mm-hmm.
It's about people coming together, helping one another to achieve a common vision.
That is true. And it actually sounds like you're very passionate about it. So it does make sense that, of course, you ditched chemical engineering and, pursued this new opportunity. But as I was listening to you, I was curious to understand, and I'm sure the audience would like to understand what qualifications, if you're to advise a young person today, they would need to get into this space, for example. Or if you're to mentor someone, what would you say? Okay, to emulate you, what do they need to get to that office or that desk?
So, for you to be in this office, you don't need a specific course per se.
Mm-hmm.
All you need to do is to um, one, are you passionate about serving the people? That is the most important part. Secondly, in my opinion, is the availability. Are you available to do this? And as you're available, do you have everything well set out to walk the long journey? Because it's not an event, but a journey
True.
that spans. Like for me, I was interested in participating for over 7 years.
Mm-hmm.
And over these 7 years, I did a couple of things to be there. I made sure that I acquired specific set skills and a proper understanding of the political framework
Mm-hmm.
and the functions of government at different levels. Then I was active in different forums where leaders meet and have conversation, and I was also contributing to uh, enhance people seated in the office that I'm seated in today
Mm-hmm.
over the period. So I think for any young person who is thinking about joining this particular space, there's no one single answer to that,
Mm-hmm.
but to have the passion and build the skills required and participate continually. And I believe when you place yourself out there and you have all these skills, people in leadership positions will want to work with you. And that's what got me into this particular position. And I think that is what will get many others and what has gotten others like me in that particular position.
Oh, nice. And thank you for sharing that. And also to add on that or pick something from that. You mentioned about the programs. I also saw on your profile that you did several leadership programs. Do you think also those are things that you would probably advise people to get into, probably, and how easy is it to get into them? Because I know, for example, for like the organization that I've worked with, such programs are, everyone is trying to get into them. So again, for the young people listening, how would you advise them to get into those programs? Because I believe they really helped catapult you to where you are today. I mean, like you said, you're in the US. I think it was a program. Also locally, you did several programs. Yeah. So how do you get into those programs? Because I believe they pick the chosen few.
Um, Absolutely. The programs that I've participated in, I've been able to hone my skills in business and general leadership,
Mhm.
capabilities. So what happened was that my participation was prompted by the work that I was doing. Most of these programs are available and require specific persons. They are looking for specific profiles, and it's a wide spectrum. Anyone can apply, and when anyone can get in there. But all you need to do is to be authentic and to be um, doing something that you love most and willing to tell the story, share the story, and build the story with others without fear. So for many programs that I've participated on, they have, in a very big way, impacted my ability and my capability to serve at this position at the moment.
Okay. No, that's I mean, fair enough. And do you think that, for example, when you did the 7 years or you took the 7 years to, pursue this, did it hold you back? Do you think that you had to like make a sacrifice? If you'd have probably pursued chemical engineering, you'd have been much farther. Was it a sacrifice that you had to make during that period, or you were comfortable during that time in terms of course, financial capabilities as well, and of course, your personal situation?
It's been a journey characterized by peaks and valleys.
Mm,
uh, at some point I would, question my decision of quitting mainstream, career path,
yeah.
the most ordinary one,
Mhm.
and think about, going back. At least once or twice I've redone my resume, but generally there's something that I think has always pushed me. And on the question on whether uh, at that moment of, about the low moments generally,
Mhm.
yes, I've found myself at positions where financially I was at the lowest.
Mm,
Through the work that I do, again, I found myself at, peaks that I wouldn't possibly would have achieved without by working as a chemical engineer
mm,
again. Uh, at least with the years of experience that I would have had at the time.
mhm.
So yes, it's a journey of, peaks and valleys. Whether I would really want to go back to mainstream chemical engineering, I don't think so. Uh, Whether I know my path moving forward, I also don't know.
True.
It's a question of giving my best at every particular moment. Over
Mhm.
the 7 years, I try to put my all in the little things that I was doing,
Mhm.
and I celebrated my small wins and learned from, the mistakes that I made, because over the 7 years I can say I've made more mistakes than, the few wins that I'm proud to, showcase to the world.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, that's good to hear, and it's nice to see. Like I said, you sound very passionate about it, and that's why you are probably in the position that you are in, because making a sacrifice of that magnitude, I mean, for the greater good is not something that you take lightly. And maybe I could ask then, would you say money was not a factor in your decision? Did you never think that, "Ah, I want to make money? I mean, in this path, or I'm pursuing this because of money?"
I grew up in poverty,
Okay.
and I wanted a better life for
Mm-hmm.
me,
Mm-hmm.
just as I wanted a better life for other people.
Mm-hmm.
And money has always been a factor. Uh, and I look at it in two folds.
Mm-hmm.
I try to set systems in place to ensure that I was financially independent and
Mm-hmm.
stable,
Mm-hmm.
as I created also time to, serve the people. So a mixture of financial stability on the side and the passion and desire to serve the people
Mm-hmm.
has helped me uh, uh, continually work towards achieving the path that has been cut out of the activities that I engage in.
Ah,
Yeah,
okay. So
yeah.
what are some of the amazing things you have done for the people of Makueni, for example? What are some of the projects in your current executive role or even the previous one that you have transformationally done for the county of Makueni, if I could ask?
All right. So if I can just go back to the role that I was playing
Mm-hmm.
previously over the
Mm-hmm.
last 1.5 years,
Mm-hmm.
uh, I was able to achieve deliver two primary achievements
Mm-hmm.
for the people. Uh, in this country, one of the challenges that our small order traders face is access to a space where they can achieve their growth of their small businesses. So I was able to build one of the most modern and best markets
Wow.
uh, along the highway, Nairobi Mombasa Highway,
Ah, so look out for
uh,
that, guys.
in Makueni, the
Okay.
Mali modern market.
Okay.
And part of the reason why I say it was a success, because many people can um, go in there and oversee implementation of a project of that magnitude.
Mm-hmm.
And just to give a perspective, this is a market that is hosting over 700 traders.
Wow.
And what I was able to do was to walk in there and make sure that some of the missing elements from,
Mm-hmm.
and I think that's why being technical is important. Some of the missing elements,
Mm-hmm.
like the design mishaps that were there in the conceptualization stage, were
Oh.
corrected.
Oh, okay.
I was able to oversee a lot of adjustments, and having interacted with the people and being passionate about serving the people, I ensured that the people who the market had been uh, built for ended up becoming the beneficiaries.
Wow. Okay.
In the wake of a lot of interest
Mm-hmm.
by, you know, different players
Mm-hmm.
who are interested in, getting the market, in communities, usually the people at the bottom of the pyramid, most of the time, end up missing out.
Mm-hmm.
Even when projects are meant to benefit them,
Mm-hmm.
then with poor leadership, sometimes that never happens
Mm-hmm.
uh, due to influence and possibly desire for money and all that. So for me, I ensure that that project benefited the people who had been earmarked to benefit from the project.
Oh, super.
The other thing that I was able to do is on the side of culture.
Mm-hmm.
I was able to do a couple of projects ensuring that I initiate a conversation for uh, documentation and digitization of indigenous knowledge,
Oh.
general assets
Mm-hmm.
that have been uh, neglected over the years.
Mm-hmm.
There's a wealth of knowledge from our forefathers that has been um lost out there.
Mm-hmm.
So I initiated a program that saw us do indigenous knowledge documentation and digitization.
Mm-hmm.
And what this means is that in the area of medicine, for example, we have traditional medicine knowledge well documented. So then pharmaceutical companies
Mm-hmm.
can easily come in and get to know what the communities relied upon
Mm-hmm.
as sources of medicine
Mm-hmm.
traditionally.
Mm-hmm.
And from there, they are able to build that up into commercial scales.
Mm-hmm.
And why this is important is because having such documentation means that the community is protected,
Oh.
so that if a pharmaceutical company in
Mm-hmm.
in the side of medicine
Mm-hmm.
comes in and wants to commercialize, then there's a clear cutout structure on how the community is going to benefit. So I established all that, and I believe these are some of the things that might not make a lot of we may not make a lot of noises for
Yes, actually, that's what
politically,
true.
but these are things that are going to make a lot of sense
Mm,
in the medium term and in
mm.
the long term.
Oh yeah, that is true. I mean, that's a really good point. And I like the fact that, you're looking at how to better improve now and also like the long term of the county, even when, let's say, you're not even there anymore. And of course, given that even now you've changed to another docket, you've left like a roadmap there and now you're moving on to a new segment. And in the new segment, let me ask, what are you looking to achieve then, since it's a new area that you're now entering? What are the visions that you're having for this new dockets?
I am currently running the docket for gender, children,
Exactly. Yeah.
youth, sports, and social services. And due to time, I'll go straight to the sports.
Yeah.
Usually, in many communities or in this country,
Mm-hmm.
for ball games, we associate talent in ball games to Western Kenya. And
Ah,
for
yeah.
athletics, we associate that to the Rift Valley.
Mm-hmm.
But one of the things that I know as a professional is that talent is cultivated,
Okay.
talent is nurtured, and we can build, as Makweni, talent that can compete nationally and internationally.
Mm-hmm.
And what I've been able to do just lately is to ensure that we have inclusive sport,
Mm-hmm.
uh, ensuring that we have equality between women in sports and men in sports,
Mm-hmm.
and also ensuring that we bring in the neglected segment of our community, the people with disabilities.
Mm.
So recently, we were able to hold the very first tournament for girls with intellectual disabilities,
Oh wow.
and we attracted the attention of Nike, whom we'll
What?
be working with to scale this.
Wow.
So, and the priority for us as a county
Mm-hmm.
is to ensure that we grow talent, and
Mm-hmm.
not just grow the talent. We grow the talent and link it up to opportunities for career growth,
Sure.
scholarships,
Mm-hmm.
uh, access to opportunities in the
Mm-hmm.
military where they require most of these skills,
Mm-hmm.
linkages to elite clubs, both locally and internationally,
Mm-hmm.
and generally training our young sportsmen and women on the uh, on, on general planning,
Mm-hmm.
because one of the things about sportsmen or athletics generally
Mm-hmm.
is that it's a very short career.
Oh dear. Mm-hmm.
So one of the things that also we are doing at the moment is to ensure that as we nurture this talent, we are equipping them with the knowledge that is needed for them to be able to plan their lives, especially the financial side,
Mm-hmm.
in a more meaningful way.
Mm-hmm.
And then finally, uh, what we are doing also is development of the sporting infrastructure, the pitches, the tracks,
Mm-hmm.
stadium, that's a primary deliverable that I hope I'll be able to deliver.
Ah, okay. Interesting. I'd like to take you back. You mentioned digitalization.
Mhm.
And in Kenya, we do have a much elderly population, especially like in the counties compared to, let's say, Nairobi. Do you think that that's something we struggle with or we continue to struggle with as we try to digitize and get people on these new, technical platforms and everything? Is that something you've seen as a struggle as you try to implement, let's say, new programs and strategies in like a digital way as opposed to the manual route in the county level, let's say? Is that something that you guys have struggled
Uh, there's a struggle, obviously,
with the
but then we,
adaptation? Sorry,
y-
that's the word.
but generally, what we've been able to achieve is striking a balance between the composition of demographics, the young people,
Ah.
and the elderly. The
Mhm.
elderly are the sources of knowledge. So, in instances where language is a barrier for
Mhm.
digitization, then we are able to get translators who really understand that.
Mhm.
And uh, why we are doing this is for posterity. We do
Mhm.
not want to lose very important segments of our culture
Mhm.
as a country. There are countries that have done this successfully. India is an example.
Mm.
South Africa is an example.
Mhm.
And for our case in Kenya, since we have the policies and the acts of parliament,
Mhm.
then it's about implementation. And we have been able to collaborate with different stakeholders
Mhm.
at the National Museums of Kenya to
Mm.
ensure that we implement this project. And we were lucky to be the first county. So
Oh.
from our lessons, then many other counties will be able to learn, and uh, we'll be able to just inspire
Mm.
many other communities across the country
Mhm.
to share out, document their uh, indigenous assets
Mm.
for posterity. And it makes a lot of sense.
Mm.
So there's, yes, the challenge of technology
Mhm.
barrier,
Mhm.
but we've been able to overcome that because we are using young champions of culture
Oh,
to do it. And at the
okay.
same time, it's a way of building people who are enthusiastic about
Mhm.
this.
Mhm.
So then, besides just having the knowledge, then
Mhm.
we are able to have people
Mhm.
who are passionate about it.
Mhm.
Yeah,
I like the fact that you mentioned that it sounds like you leverage on each generational, we are currently in a generational war, if I'm sure
hmm,
you know, like the
absolutely.
boomers, the Gen Zs, the millennial. And I like the way you've just explained you leverage on each generation's skill set. So if the young people are more savvy, you're leveraging on that. The older people are more knowledgeable, you're leveraging on that. They have more knowledge on the culture and you're leveraging on that. But do you still struggle with that in terms of the generational wars when you guys are going out there to implement all these things, or no? The Gen Z, millennial, boomer, Gen X, do you see the generational wars in your day-to-day role?
It's not easy because
Mm,
sometimes, getting the people who are passionate about culture at this generation,
yeah.
especially for the Gen Zs,
Mm,
it's not easy.
yeah.
um, then the elderly people, have this challenge of, sharing uh, the information because
That
it
is
has been
true.
previously mismanaged or misused or
Mm,
used to benefit others and not
mhm,
them. So they are those challenges, and these are the challenges that we have to solve as a government. So
mhm,
that's my work to ensure that I build confidence
mhm,
between the two generations
mhm.
and also try to bring them to a level where they can harmoniously work together to deliver the bigger picture.
Ah,
Yeah.
okay. For the record, do you want to tell them that which generation you fall on or no? Which one do you
um
fall under?
I am a millennial. Yeah. So
Yeah,
yeah.
so you can understand. You
I,
can
I can
understand.
understand both, the elderly generation
Mhm.
and the current crop, because we are lucky to be a generation that was the advent of technology.
True.
So we are tech savvy,
Mhm.
we understand a thing or two.
Mhm.
And other than AI that has come in a little bit later,
Mhm.
then it's easy for me to manage. And that's why it's important for also governments to have young faces in the top leadership levels.
Ah,
Yeah.
so let's say in the committee, are you the youngest person in the committee or there are more
Yes,
younger?
I am the youngest.
You
Yeah.
are?
Yes, yes.
Oh my God, really?
Yeah. I got in there at 35.
Oh, wow. And who's the
So
oldest then? How old is the oldest? Oh, which
it's
generation is the oldest? Sorry, let me ask it like differently.
it's about around late 50s for
Ah,
our
that's not
case.
bad. That's
Yeah.
not too old.
Yeah.
Mm.
We have
Oh, that's
a
a
young
very
governor
young,
anyway who
yeah.
is in late 40s.
What?
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
guys. Okay, I did not know that. I'm sorry, I didn't. I should have done my homework.
Yeah.
Okay, okay.
Just for the record, my governor is His Excellency Mutula Kilonzo Jr., a very progressive
Oh,
leader, served excellently at the Senate, and is now serving super well at his role as a governor of Makueni County.
Wow. Okay. Thank you. Okay. Next time you bring him along, eh?
I should.
You should.
He should sit on this seat.
Next
Yeah.
time. No, both of you. Or we should go to Makweni next time.
Karibu Makueni.
Yeah. Thank you so much. Okay. And then, okay. Now, on the career side, then, of course, there are always challenges. So, for the young people listening, what are the challenges that you endure, like in your role as a, I wouldn't say you're a politician. You're a politician? Or let's say what challenges you endure in your role as, the committee member, and like what challenges would somebody trying to get into that space, what should they have, be knowledgeable about, that some of the challenges that they might experience if they get into this position.
First of all, as a young person, people will doubt your capability to serve at that high level.
Mm-hmm.
So you'll have a lot of challenges convincing the elderly that you can do it.
Mm-hmm.
And then we're in the digital space where people will want to follow your life and try to talk more about the mistakes that you make. So again, that's a challenge that every other young leader in this country is facing, because people will not want to talk about the good things or the deliverables that you're achieving, but generally more on the negatives that you might,
Yeah.
encounter along the way. So
Oh, wow.
that's a big challenge, and that's the biggest nightmare. Yeah, working under fear of getting bashed by the younger generation specifically.
Oh, really?
Yes.
The older or the younger? Who
The
who
younger.
lack trust in you? Or rather in young leaders? The older generation or the younger generation? I thought it would be the older ones, because they're like, you've not lived life long enough to tell us what to do.
One of the things, unfortunately, and this is the truth, you're more likely as a young leader going to face a lot of backlash from the young people than the elderly.
Okay.
The elderly will have doubts, but they are not in social media to, talk and bring you down. They will have that doubt. They will wait and see. But the young people will try as much as possible to, put you on the line for very basic things that you may not, achieve. And you've seen it. It's global. It's not just a Kenyan story.
True.
It's a global story.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that is the biggest challenge that I think people end up facing. The other challenge is on the people you work with, building teams. It's not easy to build teams. So the most important skill is, the skill of patience, the skill of, team building, being able to build a team of your peers and people nearing retirement, very experienced, coming in as a young person and facing someone who has been there for 30 years. It's never easy because they will look down upon you on the onset, obviously. So trying to build a team that cuts across these generations and that demystifies the doubts then becomes a big challenge.
Oh, wow. Okay. Thanks for sharing that. So let's go on the funnier side a little bit. So tell us about now your money journey, and tell us about like one of the biggest money mistakes you've made so far up to this point that you're in.
I keep on making money mistakes, unfortunately.
Well, which one has been phenomenal? Which one has character developed you nicely?
The wait and see. Not investing at the right time
Oh, that's
or waiting to invest at the
true.
right time
That is true.
has been the biggest challenge for me. Yeah. I've seen, properties I would have acquired at a fraction of the value today, being at levels that I can't afford. So yeah, that's character development that I've had to endure.
Yeah, no, that's
So
true. And people say, for example, I think now with the current situation, I think Gen Z is feeling like they cannot afford some of the things. Even the Gen X's and ourselves have been able, like, even to buy houses, buy land, and things like that. Gen Z is feeling like we really don't need to do that. You live for now, the YOLO all the way through. What do you think of that whole take of the young people feeling like life is just too expensive to even bother? What advice would you have for the young people in terms of their money journey and how they should, navigate savings and investing, even in the current challenges that we're having?
I just want to say one thing that I've not lived very long, but I've lived long enough to just establish that uh, it will never be easy, and it has never been easy, even for the
Oh,
previous generations.
oh, okay, fair
Uh,
enough.
Raising a million, say 20 years ago, was a hard nut to crack.
Mm-hmm,
But I think uh, properties also then were expensive because raising that money
mm-hmm,
was that difficult.
mm-hmm,
Today, it's easier for the young generation to
mm-hmm,
raise more money,
mm-hmm,
and it's all about patience.
mm-hmm,
Uh, Actually, the challenge is not amassing the money,
mm-hmm,
but the challenge is impatience.
mm-hmm,
Everyone wants to own everything now. So that desire to want to drive,
mm-hmm,
want to own a property here, want to experience the best vacations, be trendy, buy
mm-hmm,
the best phone, uh, is the biggest challenge that we are facing right now.
mm-hmm,
So the solution to that is managing pressure, because it's all about peer pressure,
mm-hmm.
wanting to be like so and so,
Yeah,
but without understanding what they have had to sacrifice to
to
get
get
to that
there.
level.
No, that's true. That is very true. Actually,
Mm.
that's a very good perspective of how to look at it. But one thing I do like about this generation is they find opportunities in anything and everything. Most of them don't even go for the conventional jobs. A lot of them are
Mhm,
currently freelancers.
mhm.
They work for two, three, four, five clients in a
And they make
month,
more money.
and they make more money than the people
Absolutely, yes.
working in conventional
Jobs.
jobs. Yeah,
Mhm,
but they still, I feel like they are still very conservative in their approach to investing,
mhm,
surprisingly enough, and they just probably sometimes just want to enjoy the money now. But even us, we did that. When you get money first, you want to enjoy it, then
mhm,
think of investing later. Just like you said, I feel like us, we invested a bit later, our generation,
mhm,
later than even the Gen X's, because
mhm,
Gen X's are getting money very fast and being able to get to the million very quickly. Yeah, yeah. So
mhm.
it's quite interesting. And in terms of investment, then which one is the your best investment in your what do they call it, in your portfolio, that you've ever probably thought of investing in or have invested in? Yeah, which is your best?
My best investment, I
Yeah,
would
so
say,
far.
is building working capital. I
Okay.
believe that cash is king. If you do not have money, you meet a lot of opportunities
Mm-hmm,
and just run away because you do not have the ability to just make it work.
mm-hmm,
But with money, with working capital,
mm-hmm.
then it becomes very easy to turn around and build more wealth. So for me, the best investment is denying myself so much
Yeah.
to accumulate, I wouldn't say considerable,
Mm-hmm,
but sufficient working capital to manage
mm-hmm,
projects that can enable me build more money.
mm-hmm. And do you think that coming also from, like you said, like a more less privileged background affected your mindset in terms of how you approach money? N-
Absolutely. I
yeah.
fear poverty because I've been there, and it's it's not somewhere where I would really want to go
Mhm,
back to.
mhm,
So out of the fear of poverty, I try to be as calculative as
mhm.
possible.
Yeah.
I try not to um, live my best life
Mhm,
every single moment,
mhm,
but just get tiny bits of fun,
mhm.
uh, work balance.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Actually, that's a good question. Do you have work-life balance in your job, in your role?
It's tricky for politics.
Yeah.
Being in a political space, you're more likely going to experience issues that
Mhm,
come up as emergencies, and
mhm.
that has been the biggest challenge that makes one
Yeah.
not have work life balance. There's a lot of demand.
Mhm.
People want you to be available for them.
Oh, yeah.
And then your
Including me.
family. And then your family.
Yeah. Oh, yes.
And, trying to, I try as much as possible not to forget that I have to balance between family as a priority
Oh, yes.
and the people I'm serving.
Mm-hmm.
But, to a very great extent, I
Mhm.
found myself not managing to create as much time for my friends. So
Oh,
my
yeah.
friends have been complaining for the last 2 years, but I'm changing this. Anyone watching this, I'm going
Yes.
to change this. And yeah,
Peter's friends, please.
yeah.
He's telling you be patient.
Yeah, it was not by design. It's, the role I was placed in the deepest side of the pool,
Uh-huh.
and I've been trying to find my balance out there.
Okay. And what would success look like for you in your current position, we would say, and in your life? Like, we would say, for you, you've achieved now and you're comfortable to say you did what you set out to be. What would that success look like to you? Money wise as well. Like, is it like having 10 million in your account and, building all those projects that you need to build and, having your family in the mansion? What's success for you? Like, when will you feel like content? Like, I did it. I did the thing for everyone and everything in my buckets.
When I picture back, since I cleared college, for example,
Mhm.
I know one thing that I live every moment uh, as it comes.
Mhm.
Of course, with a lot of precaution and caution,
Mhm.
not to mess up. So when it comes to what success looks for me, is being able to balance out the many facets of life, balancing between friends,
Mhm.
family, work,
Mhm.
and also balancing between fun, savings, and investments.
Oh yeah.
So, uh, striking, because again, life has so many uncertainties.
Yeah.
So I try as much as possible to strike a balance between all of them,
Mhm.
picking a vacation here and there,
Yeah.
uh, buying, something that I wanted to have as a kid,
Oh yeah.
whenever I can,
Mhm.
without obviously compromising on the most important elements
Mhm.
of the realization that there's a future that is uncertain.
Mhm.
So many things can change.
Mm.
We just lived through COVID,
Oh
luckily, as a
yeah.
generation. And, things can change overnight. So
True.
making sure that you are ready even for pandemics
Mhm.
that might come our way moving to the future. So
Mhm.
for me is um, success is being able to balance between all this, making mistakes along the way, learning from the mistakes, and moving to the next level without finding blame
Oh.
or trying to find blame, because
Mhm.
many people try to attach a misfortune
Mm.
to other factors beyond
Mm.
them.
Mhm.
But as an individual, I try to own the
Mhm.
mistakes that I make,
Mhm.
because either I made these mistakes
Mhm.
consciously or subconsciously, and
Mhm.
that's about life.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Mhm. Okay, fair enough.
yeah.
So my last question to Mheshimiwa, does he have a budget? Now that he mentioned that he does see my social media,
Mhm.
so he's been through my pages. So do you operate with a budget? I mean, of course, on the county level, the county does have a budget,
Mhm.
but you yourself personally, do you use a budget?
Yes, I have always had a budget, not consciously, but subconsciously. I never try to do the math,
Mm-hmm.
because besides doing, besides working for government,
Mm-hmm.
I'm also doing businesses out there. So I
Oh.
have multiple revenue streams. So it gives me some level bit of flexibility,
Mm-hmm.
but I try as much as possible to spend on priorities, not just wants.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So you can see this is somebody who time, like I asked, work-life balance, time is always on the money, making money,
Mhm.
making money.
Mhm.
But yeah, thank you so, so much for being here. I mean, the time has gone by so quickly. so quickly. I know I'm shocked, but thank you for being here. Thank you for being my first guest. And I do appreciate the insights that you've given my audience and the young people who do follow me and listen to me. And we hope the next time we get a chance to go to Makueni to spend a day in the life with you, maybe we could get a sneak preview of what you guys do over there. But yeah, thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me. And my parting shot to every young person out there is that do not anticipate, but walk out there and participate in making the change that you want to see in your community, in your space, in your family, in your work, in your everything. Thank you very much, Babs.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Have a nice day.
Asante.
Okay.
When you're starting and everyone is like, so how much money can I make on YouTube? How much money can I make on Insta? Nina, nini. I'm like, when they ask me that, I've not even made a G from like even my videos themselves.
And as a Gen Z, what investment approaches have you taken?
I invest in myself.
I knew it. I knew that investing in yourself would be number one.